I think it is absolutely amazing that they've put these quilt panels up for display so that as you shop at Saks, you get to see the amazing stories. What I love about them, just look at these up here and look at they're brand new, and I was noticing that how extraordinarily beautiful they are. And one of the things that I know about the quilt is that each of these panels are made with love. And I tell the story about how I made my quilt panel, because mine was not as beautiful as all of these, but it was made with absolute love and caring. It was the winter of, 1996 now. And I was at one of the self-help workshops, and the facilitator said, I want you to do something in the next 24 hours that you haven't been able to do. And so I stood up and I said, I'm going to make a quilt panel for my friend Paul. And so I ran out to the concierge at the hotel and I said, quick, I need some fabric. Well, it's 11 o'clock at night, and where do you get fabric at 11 o'clock at night in Chicago? I went to Walmart. Now, at this Walmart, they didn't sell fabric. So what do you think I used since they didn't sell fabric? I used sheets. Do you know they sell vector print sheets at Walmart? It was fabulous. And so I bring the sheets back to my home, back to my hotel room, and I realized something. I have never sewed anything in my entire life. You know, I am a queen, I am not a seamstress, and they are very different occupations. And so I stood there, and the first thing I did was I called our kids, and I said, Mackenzie, I'm going to make a quilt for Dad. And she started to cry, and she said, I thought we were going to do this together. And I remember telling her, honey, if we don't get this done now, it's not going to make the big display in the mall. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to call your brothers. I want you to write a letter to your dad, and we'll figure out how to incorporate that letter into your quilt panel. By now it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and I cut my first piece of fabric. Now, you know, I feel at this moment like I'm Betsy Ross. I am cutting, I'm sewing, I'm doing all these things that I've never ever done in my entire life. And then at 6 o'clock in the morning, I hit the wall. And so who do you call at 6 o'clock in the morning when you hit the wall? You call your best girlfriend in the whole wide world and you say, oh my God, I'm not going to finish this. And she said, put me on speakerphone and I'll stay up with you. And we sewed all night and finished the quilt around 10 o'clock the following morning. And that's what I called our kids. And my son Justin read his story to his dad. And I wrote their story on a piece of hotel stationery, and I slipped it into each of the letters of his name. And that spring, when the quilt was opened on the entire mall, my kids and I sat and had a picnic on the mall on their father's panel. And I told them stories of this amazing man and how he changed my life. And I think that's what the quilt is about. It's about remembering those people who changed your life. It's about saying goodbye and I love you. And so I really want to thank the James Project Quilt, because there is a permanent symbol of the love that I have for this amazing man. And I will never forget him. And I will never forget him. And I want to thank them all for putting this up, because each of these panels is a story of love. Each of these panels is a story of somebody's life and how they touched their friends, their fathers, their mothers, their children, their sons. It is an amazing story of love and healing. So thank you all so much for being here, and enjoy the quilt panels because they are truly amazing.
I'm the AIDS program director for this area, and it is my honor always, to introduce the Director of the Orange County Health Department, Dr. Kevin Sharon. Dr. Sharon is a family practice physician who was in this fight for HIV early in the epidemic, before there was, I think before the first panel, or maybe right after the first panel. So it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Kevin Sharon.
Good morning. Welcome to Orlando, and welcome to the U.S. Conference on HIV/AIDS. I want to thank the folks for coming today to the Names Project and the Quilt ceremony. I want to thank Julie from the Names Project Foundation. I want to thank Paul Pavada from NMAC for bringing this conference to Orlando. Orlando is the house of the mouse. Orlando is known for conventions, and we want to give you a convention that you can remember. I want to thank especially the host committee from the local area, and I want those folks to be recognized. If you are on the host committee for Orlando in this conference, please raise your hand so that people can recognize you. And since my role today is the local health officer, I want to make some brief remarks about HIV/AIDS, if I might. Debbie Tucci is right. I was in on the ground floor of this Saturday. I was right out of my training. I remember the names of 3 young people. I remember Estelle, a young woman in Chicago. I remember Steve, and I remember Raymond, 2 young men, about 100 miles southwest of here in Florida. And I remember them succumbing to this disease. The disease has taken its toll across America in the last 25 years and more. And I remember at the beginning, we didn't even have the name that we have today for HIV/AIDS. We called it HTLV-3. So we've come a long way. We had very few drugs that we could treat this disease with. We had AZT once upon a time. That was the only medicine we had. Today we have powerful, highly active antiretroviral therapy, HAART, which has made it more of a chronic disease. A very effective HAART medication has meant that routine testing should be the order of the day. The number of people living here in the state of Florida who are HIV positive and don't even know it could fill the new Amway Arena in downtown Orlando. 25,000 people. If we do anything out of this conference to raise awareness in this community, I would like to see routine HIV testing become the order of the day in the state of Florida and across this nation. The CDC recommended that in 2006. But let me tell you, it is not the practice of medicine across this country. There are still many barriers, and it's opt-in rather than opt-out. It should be opt-out. Testing should be routine. So, once again, I want to thank everyone for coming. I want to thank NMAC. I want to thank the Names Project Foundation, and I want to thank the host committee, and I want to thank you all for coming. And now, Debbie will be back.
When we founded the Names Project and began doing displays of Quilt, there were several things that we held true. One was that a person's name is very important, and we were founded to remember their names. And so, as a part of our opening ceremonies, and throughout many of our major displays, we made sure to read the names of our loved ones. And here are a few of them. Richard Carrington, Juan Sermon, Daniel Alator, Helen Chavez, Michael Sanders, Victor Vieira,